Hello there, Middle Earth fans and Minas Tirith fans as well. Hope you guys are all doing well. So I'm back today talking about the second part of our hero review for Minas Tirith. Last time I spoke of the legend and valor tiers, and today I am going to be talking about the fortitude, but I need to actually go and make a correction. I forgot that the Kings of Men, or King of Men, has been upgraded to the valor tier in the current erratas. So I'm going to go ahead and cover his profile real quick as the first profile we're going to talk about today, and then we'll move into the Heroes of Fortitude. So let's go ahead and talk about the King of Men. He has fight value 5, a strength of 4, defense of 5, 2 attack, 2 wounds, courage 5, 2 might, 2 will, 1 fate. Kings of Men may not be included in an army that contains any other named Gondor model. So the whole reason they do that is because of the fact that a King of Men or Kings of Men, however you want to call it, they're sold as Kings of Men. So they come with 3. There's 3 different poses, I believe, if I remember correctly. They are supposed to be the kings that fell in the intervening years after, Isildur and Elendil, and between that time and Aragorn retaking the throne and reuniting both Arnor and Gondor. So that's why you can't take any named heroes with them, because they don't match the timeline for that. So they are a pretty good model, though. You saw their stats. They come with armor and sword. They have heroic march and heroic defense, so they're a slightly better captain. They have the options for armored horse, regular horse, heavy armor, lance, and shield. And it even has a little designer's note that these models are ideal, but not only to represent the past kings of Gondor, but also the stewards that ruled Gondor in their stead. So that's exactly where I get that whole blurb from, about they're supposed to be those intertwining years between Isildur and Aragorn. So I also need to make a quick note. I'm not sure if I said this last time, but if you take Denethor and Aragorn could not be taken in the same list. That is also an errata. And I don't think I mentioned that, and I may have actually said something along the lines of that you could take them both. So I wanted to go ahead and correct that in this review. So that's a little bit of a correction and a forgotten profile. So let's go ahead and jump into the Fortitude heroes. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of start with these unnamed ones. The first one being the Captain of Minas Tirith. The Captain is fight 4, strength 4, defense 6, 2 attack, 2 wound, courage 4. So again, similar to what that Kings of Men was, just a little bit less, which makes sense. 2 might, 1 will, 1 fate. He has heavy armor and sword, which is why he's defense 6. He has march, and he can be given the options of horse, bow, lance, and shield. He also has shield wall. So that's a good special rule for him to have, because Minas Tirith now has shield wall. So that's the Captain. Nothing crazy there. Just get him in and over with quick. The next we have the Knight of the White Tower. And he is fight 5, strength 4, defense 6, 2 attack, 2 wounds, courage 4, 2 might, 1 will, 1 fate. Heavy armor, dagger, and the White Sword of Gondor. So the White Sword of Gondor is an active special weapon. It is a 2-handed sword. Any strikes made with the sword have the Mighty Blow special rule. So if he is successful, Mighty Blow basically means that any runes he does count as 2. Now it doesn't give the ability to, if you like Clansman of Lambden, where or not Clansman, where if you roll a natural 6, you keep it. So he's still going to suffer a -1 penalty to his rolls. 2 points of might help you out there a little bit, getting your dice rolls back up. And he is fight value 5, but he doesn't have. He does have strike. I'm sorry, that's his only special hero. His only heroic action is strike. And then he has the Blade Lord skill. Belay my last on that. I didn't even realize. So if the Knight of White Tower scores a natural 6 in the dual roll, he does not apply the penalty. So belay what I just said. If he does roll the natural 6, but if he doesn't, that's kind of where like you get that 5 and it's like, cool, that's great, but it becomes a 4. You can't even might it up because the negative of penalty is applied to that roll, and it's not a natural 6 anyway, so you don't get to ignore the -1. I've seen a couple people take him. He's not as popular. He got a little bit better in this edition because of the fact that he can keep his natural 6 without taking the -1 penalty, and he got a 2nd point of might. In the old edition, he only had 1 point of might, so that kind of helps him out a little bit. Still not overly popular. So those are our 2 quote-unquote unnamed heroes. Now we've got a couple more from the book, and then we actually have to hop over to the Gondor at War book for a few others. So the first one is going to be Madril. He's the captain Madril, captain of Ithilien. There we go. Fight value 4, strength 4, defense 5, 2 attack, 2 wound, courage 4, 3 might, 1 win, 1 fate. So he's the guy who, unfortunately, Gothmog comes and, ends his life with the spear that he takes from the other orc in the movies. And so since he is the captain of Ithilien, his stats kind of show that. That's where you get that 3-up shoot value, and he's only defense 5. So he has armor, sword, and bow. He has heroic march and heroic accuracy. So that's really good. Because he can do a heroic accuracy combined with somebody's heroic shot, and again that kind of shows where the whole thought process is of that he's a shooting archer or shooting hero. So he has woodland creature special rule, and then he has master ambush, and that is in scenarios where you roll for additional forces to arrive, such as those using the reinforcements rule. You may modify the reinforcements roll from Madril's warband by +1 or -1. If Madril is already on the board, then all warbands from this army list may also modify their reinforcements roll by +1 or -1. In scenarios where you roll to see which part of the board your warbands deploy in, you may modify the dice roll by +1 or -1. So very good for reconnoiter, very good for maelstrom battle. So there's 4 scenarios there where you can really use him to help you out, and it's definitely a good thing to have him come on first, because then he can do exactly what it says and help out your other warbands. So huge bonus there. Unfortunately, he's still not widely seen, just because of the fact that a lot of Minas Tirith players now take other heroes that have become much better. The fight value 4 for him kind of hurts. You would like it to be 5, but I guess it makes sense because Faramir is 5, and Faramir is, his leader. So it would make sense for him to be a slightly less tier. So next we have Kyrian, Lieutenant of, or Sirion, sorry, not Kyrian, Sirion, Lieutenant of Almambard. Fight value 4, 3-up shoot value again, strength 4, defense 6, 2 attack, 2 wounds, courage 4, 3 might, 1 will, 1 fate. He has armor, sword, and shield. He has heroic resolve and heroic strike. So he's boldest of the bold for his special rule. When charging an enemy that causes terror, Sirion receives a +2 bonus to his courage value. Additionally, Sirion receives a bonus of +2 to his courage when models with Blades of the Dead special rule make strikes against him. So he's very good at fighting against Dead of Dunharrow. And I believe Spectres or something also have that. I know there's more than just the Dead of Dunharrow that have Blades of the Dead. I can't remember exactly who. But being able to have +2 to his courage charging terrifying models is really good too, because he base value of 4. If you play this army either as a full army or with a green ally, then their army bonus is +1 to courage, so that puts you at 5. With the 2, it's 7. Most things that cause terror, there's usually something in the army that gives you a -1 modifier, but you're still essentially getting him to 6 courage. So a very good chance to get charges off against terrifying models and armies with him. So we have a couple more. This is going to be a short one. I'm glad for that, because I talked a lot about the other heroes in the other, or talked a long time about the other heroes in the other video. So the next one we have up, we have Ingold, Warden of the Rama Sekar. He is fight value 4, 4-up shoot value, strength of 4, defense of 7, 2 attack, 2 wound, courage 4, 3 might, 1 will, 1 fate. Heavy armor, sword, and shield. He has heroic strike and heroic defense. He has shield wall for his first special rule. His second is resolute fighter. Ingold and friendly Gondor warrior models within 3 inches of Ingold do not back away, and if they lose a fight, do not back away if they lose a fight. Their opponent must back away instead. So that's really good because it keeps your shield wall, and he has shield wall, so he goes up to defense 8 if in it. It was, I believe it was answered in an FAQ that if you would still be trapped, that you are considered trapped. Even though your opponent backs away, they would still get the double strikes. I may have to double check on that. So yes, I did just do a quick look, and if he is considered to be trapped, even though your opponent backs away, then the double strikes and any special rules that have to do with being trapped still are in effect, which I think is cool. I think it's great that they can't back away, so they maintain that shield wall, which is good because they can then keep their defense up. But it does make sense that if you were going to be trapped, then you still take the strikes. Ingold has definitely replaced Sirion, which is kind of sad because while the +2 to his courage is great, And the fact that he's only defense 6 and he doesn't have shield wall kind of hurts him, because this whole ability for Ingold to have it and then still, get in the middle of a shield wall, or sword and shield, wall. The typical pike block with only with spears, and help maintain that shield wall as well as benefit from it, and then give a special ability. He's really become the replacement. He's still not widely seen, but now I feel like Sirion's just kind of like faded into the distance. Like, I don't ever see him in an event or just in common play or anything. It's mostly Ingold now. Okay, and then the last hero we have is Irolos, Captain of the Guard. And he is Fight 5, Strength 4, Defense 6, 2 Attack, 2 Wound, Courage 4, 3 Might, 1 Fate. He has Heavy Armor and a Sword. He has March and Defense. He is bodyguarded. So whoever your leader is, he's going to bodyguard to him, which is great. He has Defender of the White City as well. And that is, he may use the shielding special rule even though he is not armed with a shield. If he elects to shield and wins the ensuing fight, he may make a single Strength 4 strike against one enemy from the same fight. So pretty good. So he's not having bodyguard. My apologies. Not having shield wall kind of hurts him because you're not going to put him in a shield wall, like in the middle, like with Ingold. But you could probably put him on the edge and have him just sit there and shield with 4 attacks because he's doubling his 2 and still make a strike at your enemy every turn. So very good model potentially to have hold a flank. 3 points of might too, so he's going to be able to get out there and potentially, affect movements or force your opponent to burn resources, which is also a really good thing. I like him. I wish I saw him more. And he's kind of a model I've played with a little bit, and I can say that he's pretty deadly. He's somewhat underestimated because of the fact that he's Fight 5 with no strike, but he is Fight 5. So if you're going up against most armies, you're either winning or tying, which, you don't want to really be tying with Fight 5, but elves are a thing, obviously, as is the new Dragon Emperor buffing his black dragon warriors. So definitely a good model, and I really like him personally. I've played with him a couple times in practice games and just pickup games, and I've really enjoyed what he can do. Just the fact that he also provides 3 more might, and he's not overly expensive for a hero of fortitude, and he's better than like a captain. So definitely a model I prefer to take over just like a basic captain or even that Knight of the White Tower. I like him over the Knight of the White Tower too, because even though the Knight of the White Tower can have some killing ability, rolling 5s with him can be devastating for your chance to win a dual roll, because now you're down to 4s and only 2 points of might compared to 3. So those are the fortitude level heroes. I believe I've got everybody this time. So next time I'm going to talk about the minor heroes and the independent. There is an independent hero, and we're going to talk about them, and it should be even faster than this video because there's a few profiles but not as many. So hope you guys are enjoying the review for this. I have had Minas Tirith asked for a few times, so I'm trying to go ahead and fulfill it and cover it as best I can. But please like, share, subscribe, and let me know what other army you'd like to see and hear about, and I will see you next time.